Google might be forced to sell Chrome and Android might be next. What's going on here? What in the heck is going on? Let's talk about this. Let's go ahead and get into this article. This is interesting stuff. So, Google must divest the Chrome browser. DOJ renews call for Google to sell Chrome and Android could be next. Google is in hot water ahead of hearings for its landmark antitrust case. The Department of Justice is reaffirming its demands for action to break up Google's search monopoly, calling for the sale of Chrome and potentially Android as well. In a court filing published on March 7th, the DOJ doubled down on its assertion that Google's dominance in search is the result of a monopolistic practice that has been leveraged to support other services such as Chrome, Android, and in a way that makes fair competition nearly impossible. The revised proposed final judgment lays out the stakes, stating that the American people's reliance on Google's search engine is well known. Less understood, however, is how Google, through its unlawful and unchecked monopolistic conduct over the past decade, secured the American people's reliance. Google's anti-competitive conduct has denied users of basic American value, the ability to choose in the marketplace. The other thing to understand too is Google owns YouTube that we're on right now, which is the number 2 search engine. Okay. Google owns YouTube. Google has Google. Google owns Chrome, the number 1 web browser, the number 1 search engine, the number 2 search engine. It's even more of a monopoly than they're even laying out in this article. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know what's going to happen, but this news is a very interesting thing that's going on. The remedy for this, according to the plaintiffs, is to require Google to divest Chrome, a critical distribution point, to shield against self-preferencing. Additionally, the court filing calls for a provision for Google to divest Android and includes measures to prohibit Google from making an exclusionary third-party agreement in which Google pays partners to be the default search engine on their devices or services. The most notable of these deals is Google's partnership with Apple, which in the RPFJ reference numerous times, calling such deals unlawful and distribution agreements. So basically, Google pays companies to make their stuff the default. Google, the other thing about Google is Chrome right now just got rid of the ad blocking so they can push more ads to people. They've been fighting ad blockers for a long time. Now that's another big issue that's going on, which they're not going over in this article, but that's another part of it. In fact, the only thing that the DOJ seems to have taken a step back on is AI. The new proposed backed down on limitations to Google's AI investments, a slight shift in Google's favor since the initial proposed remedies. District Judge Amit Mehta had already ruled back in August 2024 that Google had a monopoly in search. But how Google is ordered to resolve that remains up for debate, or in this case, litigation. Keep in mind, this is an ongoing case, and the March 7th court filing is just a proposal from the DOJ, not a final ruling. Breaking up monopolies is certainly a good thing for consumers, but as PC gamers, James Bentley has pointed out, selling off Chrome could indeed leave consumers open to bad practices, both technically and ethically, from the potential buyer. So it will be important for the court to take steps to ensure that if Google is forced to sell Chrome, it ends up in the hands of a responsible company or organization. After all, this is the most popular web browser in the world we're talking about. Google has repeatedly pleaded for the DOJ to back off, calling the DOJ's proposal a radical interventionist agenda. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen now, especially with hearings set to kick off in April. Wow. What do you guys think about this anyway? Let me know down in the comments. The judge will have the final say on whether Google has to sell Chrome and potentially even Android. But this is shaping up to be a landmark antitrust case, the likes of which we haven't seen since the litigation against Microsoft in 1998. But there's a lot of stuff going on. I saw some news articles about some of the ways Android is changing its OS as well, and I believe this has something to do with it also. When you start putting the blocks together, I'll have a video out about that article as well soon, talking about how the future, what Android's doing in the future for the OS, and how they're going to change the way they're making it. And that's some interesting stuff too. If you want to know about that, subscribe to the channel and hit a thumbs up and let me know down below what you think of this information, because this is very interesting. I'm really interested to see what the government and the DOJ is going to do with Google. I do think Google has a monopoly. I'm not sure what the answer is when it comes to breaking them up, but they didn't even go over some of the things that they've actually been doing some dirty practices when it comes to the ad blocking, and the fact that they also own the second biggest search engine in the world, which is YouTube. From the last time I checked anyway, I don't think another search engine has surpassed YouTube. I think Google and YouTube are the #1 and #2 search engines. So you guys all out there have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video with some more great information.